Hey everyone, how's it going? So a few months ago, I tried to beat this game with just a Grimer, and it didn't go super great. It's very likely after all said and done that Grimer's gonna end up in the bottom 10. But Muck has some advantages over Grimer. The most notable advantage Muck has are its stats. Base 105 attack in Generation 1 is really good, and while 50 speed means I'm not gonna get a lot of crits, because I tend to get stat experience and levels, we should be fine in terms of outspeeding most things. The moveset, however, still leaves a lot to be desired. Muck only gets 2 attacking moves via level up, and won't even get Sludge, the best poison move in Gen 1, until really late, and by that point, I don't even know if it's worth it. In terms of its TM moves, it gets some good ones, but Muck's special is not the stat you want to be using, and the only notably great move Muck gets is Body Slam, which I love. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Muck is gonna do all that much better among fully evolved Pokemon than Grimer did among pre-evolved Pokemon, but there's only one way to find out. But first, a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Boot.dev. Boot.dev offers an amazing way to learn back-end web development from start to finish in both the Python and Go programming languages. Boot.dev understands that the smartest way to learn to code is to make sure that you're never bored, so that you stick with it long enough in order to reach your goals. But Boot.dev isn't merely theoretical. You can't learn to code without actually writing a lot of code and building real projects. Now, much of the footage you've been seeing is me, a complete novice with zero coding background, using Boot.dev in order to learn the basics of coding. During one exercise, I was completely stuck and I could not figure out why I wasn't able to get the right answer. Thankfully, Boot.dev has an AI assistant known as Boots that doesn't just give me the answer, but allowed me to understand the process to get the right answer, so when I did, I could use it going forward, which I did in a later exercise. Also, you may notice in the top right, as I complete exercises, I gained experience points, levels, and there were even some quests that I was able to complete. These are just some of the many RPG-inspired elements that Boot.dev has to offer in order to keep you engaged. If Boot.dev sounds like something you would be interested in, then go to Boot.dev and use my code JROSE11 in order to get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Alright, I have a feeling this battle's gonna go pretty badly. I'm under-leveled. Now, what you need to understand is that Poison Gas is one of the worst moves that ever existed, and it's not gonna help us. It misses like half the time, I'm not exaggerating, and Brock has 5 full heals per Pokemon. It's so interesting to me because Poison is only 1/16th per turn, so it actually is pretty balanced for the early game. Why? Clearly the developers really didn't want you to use Poison strats in order to beat Brock's Pokemon. It's very clear they're thinking about Weedle, but yeah, that's going to affect Muck, and then we're stuck with Pound, which sucks. So we're going to be here a while. Now, as this is video 103, I've done 103, actually I've done more, I've only released 103 to this point. But my point with bringing this up is that I don't really need to go into a ton of depth anymore about battles where I just use a single attack. At the end of the day, the reason Muck needs to level up is to do a little bit more damage, and to take back less damage, and to get more HP, so when it takes damage, it's not as big a deal. But I end up beating Geodude with 11 HP. Now, how can I win, right? Well, this is kind of where you can just get really good luck versus Onix, and even though Poison Gas is absolutely brutal, when Onix just stops attacking, and fun fact, Bide and Poison Gas have a very weird interaction. Using an item when you're in the middle of an attack doesn't add to that attack's turn counter, it seems. So Bide is still going to last between 2 to 3 turns, meaning I can just keep spamming it. And it looks like here that we're going to lose, but then we just get supremely lucky. I get a crit, and then Bide lasts for 3 turns, and I probably still needed that second crit. And with base 50 speed, it's only a 9.7% chance of getting a crit at all. So we got really lucky here. But yeah, unfortunately, Pokemon like Muck that don't get any moves via level up early, and there are no TMs, you just kind of have to battle Brock over and over again until you get a good result. And since many fast Pokemon can beat Brock after about 12 to 15 minutes, being at an hour 2 is putting Muck at a huge disadvantage. Now the good news is, we still do have a base 105 attack. So even though we're stuck using Pound for Rival 2, we're doing a lot of damage, enough that it's going to be a 4-shot on Pidgeotto. We get lucky, no sand attacks. We 2-shot Rattata, and I always just pick Squirtle as defensive bulk. I really think either Squirtle or Charizard would have been fine, but Squirtle's a little tougher to defeat. I don't know, it's always tough with Pokemon like Muck, which starter the rival should have, but at the end of the day, we do get a first try victory, which is pretty good. Now, a trainer where I'm a little more skeptical of getting a first try victory is Misty. Misty, we do actually outspeed Staryu and 2-shot it, which is very good. Starmie we don't outspeed, but that Water Gun's doing okay damage. Bubble Beam is doing less than okay, but again, a clutch critical hit allows me to get the victory. As well as the fact it went for Water Gun way more than, well, I guess not way more, but more than it could have. Being able to reliably beat Misty here is pretty huge, because if we didn't beat Misty here, then we'd have to come back, and that would mean we wouldn't have Thunderbolt for Rock Tunnel and those Slowpoke that are there. So while in some runs, skipping Misty, meaning we don't have access to Cut, meaning we can't battle Lieutenant Surge right away, meaning we have to battle him after Rock Tunnel, only wastes a minute or two, in this specific run, it would have wasted quite a bit more time. So good for Muck that its bulk and its attack were good enough to defeat Misty, even with just Pound. And that's probably close to the last time we're going to use Pound, as we now have Body Slam for Rival 3. It's not enough to one-shot Pidgeotto, so you know what? Let's use one more Pound, finish it off, then go for Body Slam. It crits, we level up, Teleport is great, and now against Wartortle, Body Slam, and Body Slam. For the record, going for Pound against the Pidgeotto is not purely just jokes. As great as Body Slam is, it does only have 15 power points. I know many of you think there's a healing spot in the SSN, but that's not true in Red and Blue, and if I use the Pokemon Center in Vermilion, I can't just quickly dig back to Cerulean, which saves time. So, I need to conserve my power points as best I can, and using that Pound there actually was optimal. That gives us 8 Body Slams through Lieutenant Surge, and Voltorb outspeeds, but we do one-shot. Screech is going to increase our attack by a little bit, or it was going to until we level up after Pikachu. Raichu goes for Thundershock, and you know what? Not really worried. I actually am a little more bulky than I thought I was. So we've beaten Lieutenant Surge, we get Thunderbolt, and I'm going to show you here what I always do. I go into the chairman's house, get the bike voucher, and for some reason in Red and Blue only, in Yellow you can't do this, but you can use Dig to get from his house to the last Pokemon Center where I healed, which is Cerulean. Now, one weird thing I just noticed is this is the first time I've gone with the Geodude Farfetch'd combo. Typically, I catch a Pidgey or Spearow on Route 3, and then a Paris. But Parrots can be really annoying to catch. And no, unlike in Fire Red and Leaf Green, in the basement 1 floor, it's not 100% Paris. That would be awesome. But yeah, this is the first time I've used that combo, and now you guys get to know about that. As we save in front of Whitgag, the hiker with the 2 Geodudes and Graveler, that's why he's called that, it's 215, which is really bad. And we just have to go for Body Slam. Now, Muck is bulky enough defensively that can actually tank 2 of these. And by these, I obviously mean self-destructs. And there's another Pound! See, we're still using it. But I actually ran out of potions, which is very annoying. And once again, clutch critical hits coming in clutch. We're getting really lucky, and it looks like I actually did have potions. I just forgot to use them, so great job, me. Excellent. But we won, so who cares? I know forgetting Erika is a J-Rose staple, but in this run... Okay, the wrap is a problem. I was gonna say that it makes most sense to battle... Is this a speed tie? Wait, is this a speed... Oh my god, it's a speed tie. So, that's really irritating. In Gen 1, as you can see, wrap is the cheapest move of all time. And I actually saved before Erika, just in case I was wrong, and then I could go battle Giovanni. But I don't really have any great moves for Giovanni. I do have some good moves for Erika, and I may need to level up a little bit. So let me battle this trainer, and we'll battle Erika in just a second. So now we're at level 31, so no more speed tie. And at this point, Wrap's still annoying, but not cheap. And it's 2 Body Slams to knock out Victory Bell. Tangela, also annoying, but at least we paralyzed it. But see how the Super Potion can interrupt? It's the same thing with Bide. There's another Pound. We keep using it. And then Petal Dance from Vileplume. It's going to take 3 Body Slams, but we have gotten past Erika. Now, some of you might question the wisdom of leveling up in Erika's gym with a fully evolved Pokemon. Typically, we don't have to do that, instead of just going and doing something else. However, by beating Erika, we get Mega Drain, and that's probably going to make Giovanni, I would say, possible. I don't know how possible he would have been with just Body Slam. Now he should be fairly easy. Muck is not the first Pokemon I would think that could use Mega Drain, but it's a very effective move, one-shotting, even at just 40 power. And you can see I've actually run out of Body Slams, and man, that is a 5-turn. I want to, wait, can we pause? Pause. 5-turn critical hit Comet Punch, followed by a 1 in 256 miss with Thunderbolt. Are you for real? Anyway, we still win. Like, I just want you to know how absurdly unlikely this battle was. We still won. So Muck is actually doing fairly well, winning on its first or sometimes second try. The big problem with Muck is that it's using mostly normal moves, which means it's typically two-shotting things, and that time is starting to add up here. I can't really foresee Muck making up any significant time versus the other Pokemon in its eventual tier, until maybe the Elite Four, where it's really good attack, and something else we'll talk about in just a second, or maybe a few minutes, that could help Muck out. But right now, Muck probably isn't going to be gaining any time, but hopefully it won't be losing much time. I'm interested to see how Koga's going to go, but first we have to battle Rival 4. We do have Thunderbolt from Surge, that one-shots. Body Slam, we're over-leveled, so we one-shot. No Sludge yet. So we're going to two-shot Execute, we outspeed Kadabra, and then we do one-shot War Turtle. I don't think the crit mattered. We are 2 levels away from Sludge. I don't think we're going to have it necessarily for Koga. Maybe we will, but it won't matter anyway since, you know, Koga's Poison type. Now, as I use Body Slam, and you can see I'm running out, but don't really worry, Thunderbolt should do just as well. Koga's Pokemon are very bulky in defense, but I get hit with a Smoke Screen, so I'm going to actually reset right away. If we were doing real time, this would actually make a lot of sense. And you can see Thunderbolt, Body Slam, oh, that was a good crit. They're doing about the same. I did end up getting Sludge, which I'm not going to use. Muck was a 4-shot, which sucks, but what can you do? And then Thunderbolt, there's the miss. Now, I think we can tank a Self-Destruct. Maybe not after an X attack. Oh, we do! Let's go! Well, that was really good. So that was kind of what I was hoping would happen. Took a turn longer, and that X attack made things a little dicier. But at the end of the day, Muck did do its job versus a not really great team for it. That's really good. And now with Sludge, although our level isn't super high, we do have good moves for the Pokemon of Rival 5. So for Pidgeot, we do have Thunderbolt. It's okay, it's going to be a 2-shot, and it goes for Whirlwind. No agility yet. That will eventually be quite cheesable. Body Slam, Leer Body Slam is great. That's a badge boost. And then Sludge knocks out Execute. Alakazam, we don't outspeed, but we don't one-shot. However, Rival 5 still has potions for some inexplicable reason. Really lucky there. We level up, and you might think, oh, J-Rose, you should go for Mega Drain, but Blastoise has really bad attacks, like Bubble, and even though it crit, it made sense to try for the 2-hit KO Thunderbolt. And although, once again, we survive with just a sliver of HP, a sliver is more than enough. And so again, Muck passes a difficult test, albeit maybe not in the fastest manner. Let's just go and quickly battle Giovanni too, before we get into Muck's next test, Blaine, but more importantly, Sabrina. Now, Muck doesn't actually have an amazing matchup against Giovanni, just simply because without a water move, we're not going to be able to hit super effective damage against Nidoqueen, and Kangaskhan is fairly bulky defensively, so it's going to require a little bit... Oh, that was actually meant to be a Mega Drain, but it's going to require a few more attacks than I'd like. Still, Nidoqueen just has Body Slam, and even with a crit, it only does about a third of my health. So it's going to take a few hits to knock it out, but the result was never really in question, at least not in my mind. Now, I don't think it should surprise you that Blaine was my next battle. I am under-leveled against both, and ooh, nice critical hit there. We're at level 42, and I'm using Sludge. Sludge is actually slightly better than Body Slam, but you can see here, Rapidash does some annoying stuff. It has the fire version of Rap, although with worse accuracy, hits me with Growl, which is pretty annoying. So I have to either rely on my special moves or a reduced power body slam. And it is poisoned, which is nice, and that Tail Whip should help. Case in point, I now outspeed the Arcanine, and I paralyze it for good measure. I get a crit with Thunderbolt, and wow, a critical hit and a Parahax. So we cannot be complaining in this run of bad luck. Muck seems to get every clutch crit, and now even a clutch Parahax to help it win first try. So Muck's doing quite nice, at least on real time. Not that I really track that, because this is pretty RNG. Still, whether this would have taken 1 or 3 tries, I think we can see Blaine was easily beatable. Sabrina is a far bigger question, especially her Kadabra. It's gonna outspeed, it's gonna hit with Psychic most likely. I kinda have to hope for Psybeam, and that is still probably gonna crit. This is gonna be very challenging. Alrighty, so here's the Kadabra I talked about, and it goes for Psychic. We tank it and one-shot, and level up. Mr. Mime's going to take 2-shot. Light Screen is fine. Venomoth, I think it's going to go for Leech Life, which is fine. We go for Sludge. And now Alakazam can go for Psywave. It goes for Psybeam. When we get to this specific Alakazam, it's probably close to a 1 in 3 chance because it has Psywave. But since I know there are more Alakazam coming, I think it actually makes sense, since we're right next to the Fighting Dojo, to preemptively get more EXP here. Not only is it going to help versus Sabrina, but Rival 6 is something that's really close to being something I need to worry about. With the extra experience, it's not as if Sabrina were easy by any means. However, you'll notice that Sludge has been replaced with Harden, and after using just 1 Harden, I now outspeed Kadabra. And since Mr. Mime has both Barrier and Light Screen, which are pretty useless, I can set up a few more of them, and I should... Oh, I didn't one-shot Venomoth. But I should outspeed and one-shot Alakazam, which I do. So, a lot of my long-time viewers know about the Badge Boost glitch, but this is a big reason why I do this challenge in Generation 1. I would have given up long ago. In later games, you can use held items, abilities, terastallization, all sorts of things to make these difficult battles a lot easier. In Gen 1, all certain Pokemon like Muck has is the Badge Boost glitch, and unfortunately it doesn't get hardened until very late, but that was the real reason I wanted to level up. I knew with Harden, Alakazam would be doable because all we would need to do is outspeed it, and then we would easily one-shot it. This is going to be true going forward. The question is, are we going to have the opportunities to set up the Hardens we need? But before we can worry about more Psychic types, we should worry about Muck's other weakness, Ground types. I'm very grateful Giovanni doesn't lead with Dugtrio because, oh, I actually meant to go for Harden here. See, if I had done that, things probably would have gone a bit better. Instead, I get hit by Dig, but I can go for Mega Drain, and then I go for Harden. Dugtrio's Underground, I go for a second Harden. That's still not enough to outspeed. That was clearly a mistake, and you can see how without the ability to Badge Boost, things just don't go well. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to actually get 4 Badge Boosts, since the Tail Whip actually counts as a boost. So strange, eh? Unfortunately, Mega Drain does not one-shot Dugtrio, but my defense is super duper high, so we're going to tank its moves pretty easily. Now, we've leveled up. So those glitchy attack boosts we got, those are gone, but our regular defense boosts, those are still there. And so although it's going to take more time, and it probably would have made sense to battle that trainer just below Giovanni to make sure I don't level up in the middle of the battle, a win is a win is a win. And although this took 2 tries, we have made it to the end game. Now I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is there are trainers where, because we're poison type, we're going to be able to exploit their terrible, I mean good AI, and use Harden to Badge Boost through them. The bad news is there's one very specific trainer where that's not going to happen, and I have no idea what Muck can really do there. But, like I say a lot, that's a problem for future Gyros. Current Gyros gets to exploit the ever-loving heck out of this Pidgeot. Now, I think I might level up in the middle of the battle, so I can't fully set up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's okay. I kind of realized it as I was setting up, so we can set up 3 more Hardens, and hopefully that's enough to outspeed Alakazam. If not, we'll just do it again. Execute, I no longer have Sludge, but thankfully we get the Paralysis fully paralyzed. 3 apparently is not enough to outspeed the Alakazam, but it is enough. Probably actually we didn't even need it to tank the Psychic, at least without a crit. Now out comes Blastoise, and I'm going to go for Mega Drain because it does have Hydro Pump. Ooh, that's a crit. Should have gone for Thunderbolt. Yep, definitely should have gone for Thunderbolt. But hey, clearly it was going to be a 2-shot anyway, and this was a first try victory. In the end, as limited as Muck's moveset is, it did manage to get enough good moves and enough good stats to make it to the Elite Four in 4 hours, 23 minutes. That means Muck can still be a very solid Pokemon. However, I have my doubts that Muck won't need to level up substantially more to get by Agatha, but let's go beat the first 2 Elite Four members just to feel a false sense of happiness before we get utterly destroyed by Agatha. Hooray! Now, why am I so confident? Well, one of the reasons is that Lorelei can just spam rest. Literally. That is all this Dugong can do. It can't do anything but spam rest. And so I could theoretically set up 6 Hardens. I am not going to because I think I level up after the Cloyster. Oh, I don't. All right, well, then I should have just done that here. Anyway, I was going to set up the Hardens. There's the level up. Oh, that's really bad. Because now Jinx, actually, we're doing pretty okay. I'm going to set up a couple Hardens here as it goes for Thrash. And that should actually set me up really well for Lapras. Listen, we're probably going to end up using the rare candies. And in which case, we're not going to level up in the middle. Oh, are we going to win? Okay, Lapras? 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 Are you kidding me? All right, that sucked. Anyway, I'm just going to use the rare candies now to see what happens at level 60, but like, we obviously don't need them. All right, I can't count. It's level 59, but here is what we actually do. Wow, that does a lot. But let the Dugong go to sleep. We don't actually have to use Thunderbolt first. I just want to know how much it would do. And it goes to sleep again. Again, I'm just messing around here. I can go for all 6. And then Thunderbolt knocks out Dugong. Remember, I have saved before the Elite Four, so since we are only tracking in-game time, none of this messing around is really going to impact anything. If my hypothesis of losing, wow, we don't one-shot the Lapras. That sucks, but we probably will after we level up. Again, I know I seem like I'm being a very Debbie Downer, but I'm telling you, after we destroy Bruno, which we will, and we don't want Acid Armor, by the way. Harden is actually better, which is so funny. But, oh, we also one-shot. We one-shot with Thunderbolt. So, yeah, I think you can see why Bruno was a joke. And then Machamp has a terrible matchup. But now that that's all over, Agatha has high special Pokemon. Body Slam can't hit them. And I have no way to put her Pokemon to sleep. And I don't have a move slot for Mimic right now. So, this is awful. So all I can do is go for Thunderbolt, and I can go for Harden to try and set up some badge boosts, but like, that's risky. 1 does not enable an outspeed, and oh, actually we almost with one-shot the Golbat, so we made progress, but yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Exactly what I thought was going to happen, because you cannot be giving Agatha 5-6 turns with each Gengar to use Hypnosis, to use Nightshade. It's just not going to work out for you. Now, I want to give Muck a fair shot, so I'm going to battle one more time because there's no real reason not to, and it looks like the same annoying stuff is happening just as I predicted. There's just really no way for Muck to do anything against Gengar. If it had Psychic, that would be great. If it had Earthquake, it would be amazing. But without a super effective move, not being able to outspeed, relying on special attacks, that's not going to work. After losing to Agatha one more time, I leveled up, and this is the battle now that I've leveled up. Thunderbolt is doing a little bit more, but once again, not being able to do anything about Hypnosis, and then it randomly going for Dream Eater and healing itself is just such a lethal combo, and this is the first Gengar. There's another Haunter. We do get by Gengar number 1, and then one-shot the Golbat. Unfortunately, we do level up. Now, good news, we just naturally outspeed Haunter. Bad news, we've run out of Thunderbolts. So while I will eventually make it past the Arbok, And actually, the game's going to make it easy for me and switch into Gengar, but we don't even have enough power points to get by this Gengar, which is very, very frustrating. But it is progress, which is good. Unfortunately, this would be the furthest I would make it against Agatha, so I did have to level up just a little bit more. But after leveling up a little bit more, and this is huge, after one Harden, we outspeed Gengar. That is acceptable. Although we get put to sleep and confused, but we wake up quickly, but then we hit ourselves in confusion, so we get put back to sleep. But then we wake up right away, but then we're hit by Nightshade, and with 47 HP, it's over, right? One Nightshade and we're done. Haunter thankfully doesn't go for it, and I'm gonna just keep spamming Harden against Arbok, because I need to knock out this Gengar as quick as possible. But with 24 HP, I go for Mega Drain, I get glared, which is the worst. And at this point, I'm just going for Mega Drain. Just try to give me one more hit in case I get hit by Nightshade. And there it is! So the Mega Drains worked, and I badge boosted so much that I actually knocked out the Gengar in one hit after the swap. But then Arbok gets a crit, and I get Parahaxed. After all that, I lose to Arbok. Wait, it went for a Super Potion! No! What is this? Wait, it went for Screech! Yes, I win! So, this shouldn't be a big deal. We still have 2 more trainers. It's not like I can save between Elite Four battles. But I'm very convinced that by getting past Agatha, I have just won the game. Because as you're going to see, Lance has no way of dealing with Muck, especially since it has Thunderbolt. And as long as I don't level up at the worst time, the champion should be pretty easy too. But that's what I think. Let's see if that's true. So my hope here is that Thunderbolt one-shots. I didn't even actually think Muck would outspeed. That's actually a bonus. And now, okay, so look at that. 65-55 means we will still have our badge boosts after we knock out these Dragonair. And that's important because the only Pokemon that poses a threat is Aerodactyl, which we outspeed due to badge boosts and one-shot. But due to terrible AI, all Lance's Pokemon can do are spam non-damaging psychic moves. And here's the thing, I saved a rare candy because I knew this entire final battle would be all about the badge boosts. And so this is probably the most badge boost glitch heavy Pokemon, despite the fact it didn't even get its badge boosting move until like the last tiny bit of the video. But watch greatness. Wait, I'm worried about Sky Attack. Don't crit. Okay. Watch greatness. Please don't crit. No. Don't crit. Okay. Watch greatness as I use 6 Hardens and then, okay, 7 Hardens. And then I go for Thunderbolt. That's 1. I go for Body Slam. No crit. That's good. That's 2. I go for Mega Drain. There's my HP back. That's 3. Arcana, and I go for Body Slam. Oh, you know what? It survived, but it went for War. And now Body Slam. Okay. Oh, that sucks. So it's going to take a second. Oh, you know what? I woke up pretty quickly. Cool. And now go for Thunderbolt. No crit. Easy peasy. Nice level. Nice battle. Nice strat. As I thought, just get past Agatha. It's going to be easy. With Muck's bulk, it was easily able to set up Hardens against Pidgeot as I thought it would. However, as you guys have seen, Muck did struggle against Brock and struggled enough against Agatha that it's ending with a 513 time. And even though level 69 isn't so bad in terms of level, it took it a while to get there. And so, unfortunately, Muck is going to find itself in the D tier alongside Golbat, Dugtrio, Fearow, Moltres, and Aerodactyl. All very different Pokemon with different problems, but all of them around the same level and all of them around the same time finished. I want to make very clear that the exact order within the tier list, that's pretty debatable, and considering I'm only doing a single run, it's kind of irrelevant to debate because these aren't super scientific. I do think, though, the tiers themselves, if we were to do 5, 6, 7 runs, I do think they would hold up pretty well. And I do think Muck, unfortunately, even with all the good parts, and this run was pretty fun to do, unfortunately, it just didn't have enough to be a non-bottom tier Pokemon. With all that said, I want to thank you all very much for watching and see you all tomorrow in the next video. Take care.